Hi, I'm looking here at Julia Gillard. She's the Prime Minister of Australia. I'm looking at her recent press office statement about Gillard government to act on female genital mutilation in Australia. Let's have a look at what she's got to say. Tuesday, the 11th of December 2012. Prime Minister, Minister for Health, Canberra. I noticed this morning she doesn't use the word victim when she's talking about female genital mutilation, but the Sydney Morning Herald does. But we'll have a look at that after we've finished this article, or this press office release from Julia Gillard. Prime Minister, Minister for Health, Canberra. The Gillard government will boost community awareness and education campaigns and review Australia's legal framework in an effort to stop the barbaric practice of female genital mutilation in this country. Well, one could ask, what the F is she going to do about male genital mutilation in this country, and does she consider it barbaric? Following a disturbing report on ABC 7:30 in October, the Prime Minister and the Minister for Health, are they both women? I think they are, have been investigating additional measures that can be undertaken to address this horrific practice. So the practice of female genital mutilation is considered by the Prime Minister and the Health Minister, presumably, to be barbaric and horrific. Is male genital mutilation barbaric and horrific? I'm inclined to think so, but let's read on. The stories told on 7:30 were truly tragic. Tragic, yes. I think any genital mutilation is tragic. Have you seen a little baby scream? I think that's tragic. Would the Prime Minister have deaf ears to the scream of a baby boy being genitally mutilated? Would her ears be deaf? Would her eyes be blind? Would she remain dumb too? Would she remain dumb? Yes, would she? The stories told on 7:30 were truly tragic. These are stories all Australians should heed. Governments, police, the medical profession, communities, families and individuals. What of stories of male genital mutilation, I ask? Female genital mutilation intentionally alters and causes harm to the female genital organs for no medical reason. That sounds like they're making a vague comparison with male genital mutilation there. But let me read that again. I could just as well say male genital mutilation intentionally alters and causes harm to the male genital organs for no medical reason. If you're going to dream up medical reasons for male genital mutilation, you can just as easily dream up reasons, valid medical reasons, for female genital mutilation. It is not hard to find reasons when you're doing research. Often when you're doing research, you can actually find the results that you want to find. The UN World Health Organization, what an outdated organization that is. The UN World Health Organization estimates that 140 million girls and women worldwide are currently living with the consequences of female genital mutilation. Worldwide, yes, so what about all the males worldwide living with the consequences of male genital mutilation? And yes, furthermore, those 140 million girls don't live in Australia, and they weren't done in Australia either. We're talking about Australia here. We're not talking about worldwide, are we? We're not. We're talking about Australia. It is often, yes, fair enough, some girls that have been genitally mutilated come to Australia to live. That's fair enough. But they weren't done here, it must be remembered. It is often performed on girls under the age of 10. That's interesting because male genital mutilation was performed on me just when I was a few days old. It is a violation of the human rights of women and girls. Yes, as I say, male genital mutilation is a violation of the human rights of men and boys. However, it is a violation of the human rights of women and girls, and there is no place for it here in Australia. I don't think there's necessarily any place for male genital mutilation in Australia either, if we're going to be non-sexist about all this. And remember, the Prime Minister gave her big speech against sexism and misogyny in recent times. Its occurrence in this country cannot be excused by culture. Well, to be realistic, there are more male circumcisions going on in Australia, and are they excused by culture? They probably are, because it's perfectly legal to do genital mutilation. It's perfectly legal to place for that here in Australia either. But let's read on. The Gillard government today announced it would immediately implement the following measures. Provide $500,000, that's $500,000, in grants to fund organizations to run education and awareness activities and support change within communities. As we know, public and education and awareness is key to change. Why doesn't she bankroll an education campaign to stop little boys being genitally mutilated? Or is Julia blind to male genital mutilation? Is she deaf to the screams of boys being genitally mutilated? Is she? She could be. And she could be dumb as well, as I said. New research and data collection on female genital mutilation will be undertaken as a priority. Well, for your information, Julia, there's plenty of research and data collection about male genital mutilation in Australia. Decades, a whole 20th century of research. What are you going to do about it, love? What are you going to do about it? New research and data collection on female genital mutilation will be undertaken as a priority. A priority. What about boys as a priority? Boys aren't a priority? This will help us build the evidence needed to support women and girls affected by female genital mutilation. There is no evidence needed to, when we're discussing male genital mutilation. All the evidence is there. The evidence is that males in Australia have been genitally mutilated, and it's perfectly legal, and there are hospital accounts of it, and so forth. Minister Plibersek will hold a national summit on this subject early next year, bringing together community health, legal and policing experts to discuss how we can increase awareness and support and reduce incidents in Australia. Well, by comparison with male genital mutilation in Australia, the number of females being genitally mutilated is very minor by comparison. The Attorney General will review the current legal framework in Australia and provide evidence on whether any changes are required to ensure full protection against female genital mutilation at home or abroad. That is, there'll be no female genital mutilation, female circumcision tourism, supposedly. And ensure full protection. Who's going to ensure full protection for little boys against male genital mutilation? Who's going to guarantee little boys male genital integrity? Is Julia, I ask again, going to be deaf to the screams of little boys? Is she? They scream when they're being genitally mutilated because they don't want to be. These measures will be led by the Minister for Health, who will coordinate efforts across the government at the request of the Prime Minister. Why doesn't she fucking well request that some boys be protected? If she's non-sexist, and she said she wasn't sexist, she said she hates misogyny, and she says she hates sexism. If you don't defend boys, that is sexism too. That is called misandry, the hatred of men and boys. The Minister has been meeting with experts and key stakeholders over the last few weeks. Well, I was a key stakeholder before my penis was chopped, wasn't I? I was a key fucking stakeholder. The Minister has been meeting with experts and key stakeholders over the last few weeks. The Gillard government will be speaking with states and territories to seek their cooperation on this issue. All Australian states and territories have already enacted legislation making female genital mutilation a criminal offence with penalties in some states of up to 20 years imprisonment. Well, that's interesting because it's perfectly legal to genitally mutilate a little boy, and no one is going to bring out the sex crime squad if you genitally mutilate a little boy. In fact, I've written here, both state and federal laws discriminate on grounds of gender. They do. That is sexism and that is misandry. In November this year, United Nations member states approved a draft resolution urging member states to take the necessary measures to protect women and girls from this harmful practice and to end impunity. So it's okay to just not protect men and boys from a harmful practice. And anyone can just mutilate a boy, and that's okay. This resolution is expected to be acted on by the United Nations General Assembly later this month. Well, really, I mean, what has the United Nations done for me? What has it done for boys? Australia will stand firm with the international community and support all necessary measures to eliminate the practice of female genital mutilation. They're not going to do anything, are they, for boys? They're not. We do not know how widespread this is very interesting, this particular paragraph. We do not know how widespread this practice is in Australia, but we know there have been instances, and anecdotal evidence suggests these are not isolated. When I read this paragraph, I can hear Prue Goward's voice ringing in my ears, so I know where Julia Gillard got that paragraph from. The words have changed slightly, but what we're hearing is Prue Goward there. One such procedure performed in this country is one too many. One girl taken overseas to have it done is one too many. So it's okay to do more than one boy, is it? It's okay, that's okay. We must work together to help put a stop to this act from ever being performed on girls who live in this country. This act, they call it, as if it's something despicable. So it's this act, but I mean, just consider how many males have been done. Now that was Gillard, but I'll just have a little look at the Sydney Morning Herald from December the 11th, 2012. They discuss Gillard's press statement, but I notice that they use the word victim. Under the plan, there will be new research and data collection to ensure female victims living in Australia are receiving adequate support. So, when a female is genitally mutilated, she's a victim. When a boy is genitally mutilated, he's just circumcised, isn't he? Yes. Women are victims, and boys are just circumcised. It's all sexism as far as I'm concerned. It's all misandry as far as I'm concerned. And if Julia Gillard doesn't stick up for boys, then she has to be described as a sexist and misandrist person. If she doesn't bankroll boys, she is sexist and she is misandrist. Her tweet said, "The horrific practice of FGM has no place in any religion or culture, and the government will work to stamp it out here." I asked Julia, what is she doing to defend boys, to stamp out male genital mutilation? What is she doing? I don't think she's going to do anything. I think she is going to be like Elizabeth Broderick, Prue Goward, Quentin Bryce, and all the other many female sex discrimination commissioners of the Human Rights and Equal Opportunity Commission who didn't speak a word in the defense of male genital integrity. I don't think Julia is going to do anything. That's what I think. See you for now.